here on Boy Green Daily.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily. As we continue here on the show, I said we'd have a surprise on the show, and oh my goodness, this may be one of the greatest surprises of all time. Let's bring her in. Another special guest joining us on the show. It is the amazing, the wonderful, the immortal, Judy Battista, baby, here on the show of the NFL Network and so much more. Judy, good morning. Thanks for hopping on.
Good morning. Good to be here. I don't think I can live up to that billing, but I'm going to give it a try.
Hey, there you go. And Judy, you were, of course, at Jets training camp yesterday. Back together weekend is terrific. You're there with your buddy, Brian Baldinger, and all the Jets. And Judy, I just have to say off the top, it's so cool. It was the energy felt palpable to me watching from home, seeing you and Aaron Glenn sitting next to each other, and just like Aaron looking at you at the end of the interview and saying, together again, we're doing this all over. Like, it was really cool.
Well, I was lucky enough to cover him as a player at the Jets. And so first of all, I would have been thrilled for him to get a head coaching job anywhere, but that it's with the Jets and that it obviously means so much to him that the Jets gave him the opportunity to be a head coach for the first time is just really great. And I'm so excited for him. And we don't really root for teams, but you root for people you like, and you root for good stories. And he would definitely be a good story, but he's also a person I like. So I'm rooting hard for Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, and that to me was one of the most moving, things of the entire piece, or the entire interview that you did, was Aaron Glenn had said earlier in training camp about knowing the pain of Jet fans, and boy, no one knows more the pain of Jet fans and players that have played for the team, Judy. And I love that you asked that question, because Aaron gave this very passionate answer that I think Jet fans resonate with, because he knows what we've been through. We've both gone to the same therapist. You're like, what, AG? You're us here together? So, what did you take away from that? That it sounds like this is not just just someone getting their first NFL head coaching opportunity. It feels incredibly personal, Darren Glenn, to turn this around and bring back to the glory days that he experienced, of course, with that AFC Championship team in the late 90s.
Well, when he was hired, he said he wanted to be the New York Jets coach. Obviously, he wanted to be a head coach in the NFL, but he wanted the Jets. And first of all, I think that meant a lot to Jets leadership, to the ownership. It obviously means a lot to Jets fans, but it tells you how much it means to him, right? This is the team that drafted him, that gave him his entry into the NFL as a player. When he was talking about the pain of Jets fans early and, right before training camp started, the thing that stuck out to me is he said that not only did he play there, but he had followed the team. He had kept up with the team all along, right? So the rest of his playing career and then his path up the coaching ladder all these years, he kept up with what was going on with the Jets. And so he knows it has been a roller coaster, some high moments, certainly, but some lows. And he knows how tough it's been. And he, when I asked him about it, he wants the players to feel what he felt when he was with the Jets. As he said, for a few years there with Parcells, they were the guys. They ran the town. He wants the players to get that feeling. He wants the people in the building to get that feeling. He certainly wants the fans to get that feeling back. He even wants the media to feel what it's like to, when the Jets are on top of the world. So it's definitely personal for him. It's not just a job. He wants to be the guy that turns this around.
And what about the Justin Fields stuff, which was interesting? It's been an interesting tete-a-tete between Aaron Glenn, the media, the Justin Fields thing, because you said exactly what we were thinking during your interview with Aaron. Wow, that was a nice little surprise. Justin ran out on the field. None of us knew that was going to happen. It's wasn't a surprise. They're like, it was to us. So, what was your what is your perspective overall on Aaron Glenn and the media's relationship? Because it's been very interesting.
I actually think he's been really good with the media. Pardon me, one of my AirPods just fell out.
No, that's okay.
I think it's actually been really good with the media. And one of the things when he sort of admonished the media for getting ahead of itself when they saw Justin Fields going off on the cart and we didn't know the diagnosis yet, which is sort of like this. You want to say to him like, this is life in the social media age. Nothing
Yeah, right.
waits.
Welcome.
Like nobody's waiting, right? But is he said like, I won't BS you. Like I will tell you what's going on. You just have to let me find out what's going on, and then I'll tell you. He is from the Bill Parcells school. He's not going to give away the state secrets for sure, but I also think he is going to be a straight shooter with the media. Bill Parcells was a master at dealing with the media. I think most people thought that Parcells was antagonistic with the media. Not really. Like he had a really good relationship with the media, and I think Aaron Glenn will be like that. I don't think he's going to be a politician, and I don't think he's going to be out there, trying to sell himself and sell the team. Like he is all ball. He is all business. He wants to focus on football. So I don't think you're going to see a ton of Aaron Glenn beyond what he is obligated to do as the head coach. But I do think when you hear from him, you can probably take what he's saying to the bank. Like, I don't think he's going to be us. And frankly, as a media member, that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Again, we're speaking with the amazing Judy Battista, NFL Network extraordinaire. They're on their training camp tour as Judy continues to travel the countryside. And Judy, look at this. Where are we at? Giants camp?
We're at Giants. It's very hazy today. It's like yesterday was a pretty nice day here in New York, but today is kind of muggy. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, right. Well, you're with the Giants. I know that's got to be, it's not the Jets, so you got to do the best that you can, obviously. There, Judy. When you do all of these interviews for NFL Network, NFL Plus, you have this notebook sitting on your lap. I'm curious for this Aaron Glenn conversation. What was the number one thing you had written in your notebook that you wanted to get out of that conversation?
Well, Justin Fields, right? Because we saw him on the fifth, so I wanted to know what that was about. I usually just jot like notes to remind myself of things I want to get to. I had written down the thing about what he had said about, taking away the pain of Jets fans. So there were things like that, but mostly just like things I saw in practice. Like they ran that very cool open field tackling drill, which I hadn't.
What'd you make of that?
I loved it. It was great, and the fans loved it, and the players seemed to love it. It's like super high energy and intense and competitive, and like as he said, like, I mean, this is what's coming, right? You've got to be able to tackle, and you got to be able to tackle in space, and they're putting the pads on Monday, so that was a good precursor of it. I mean, the defense, the one time that it was Garrett Wilson versus Sauce, and obviously they're not tackling to the ground. It was mostly just sort of touching, right? And Sauce got him on the boundary, like got to Garrett Wilson before he could make the break and turn upfield. And so, Sauce won that rep, and like the defense went bananas, just like, like it was like, whoa, okay. And the crowd went crazy. So I loved the competitiveness of it. Like that was really high intensity.
All right, let's get to a few of the players that you sat down with. Now, Armand Membu is a man of very few words, so credit to you,
Judy.
Judy.
Also a very big person.
Yeah, he appears that way.
Gigantic, like huge person. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So when you have I don't know if I'm sure you were aware of that before you sat down with Armand, but like, how do you deal with a player like that when they're short and you're trying to sort of like get their guard down, engage a little bit? What's sort of the secret sauce there, Judy?
Oh, well, first of all, I think you just asked some open-ended questions and how they're feeling. He's young. He's a rookie. Obviously he's a big-time college player, but he probably does not have as much media experience as you're going to need when you're in New York. It goes for Mason Taylor, too. Like, those are two young guys who are almost certainly going to have to be big contributors this year, right? They just want them to be big contributors.
Sure.
So they're going to have to talk to the media, even if they don't do it, during the week. They're probably going to have to do it at some point in the locker room after games, good and bad. And so it's good to get them some reps. But I thought he was like, he's quiet. You're right. He's a guy of few words, but I think you just have to talk to them about what they're feeling. And then you sort of have to ask some follow-up questions. Like Mason Taylor said, like, Justin Fields was a good leader. And I was like, well, how? Like, what's he doing? So you just have to probe a little bit. But like these are good days. Like I always say this about training camp. Training camp is a great time to be around teams because nothing bad has happened yet in most cases. Like hopefully you have not had a devastating injury. Nobody's lost any games yet. Most places are really optimistic and hopeful. And so this is a great time to be around guys, especially young guys, because it's all upside.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Who's everyone that you got a chance to talk to? So we saw Aaron Glenn, you mentioned Mason Taylor, Armand Membu. Anybody else you got a chance to sit down and chat with?
No, you saw the three. Otherwise, I was just catching up with people who've worked at the Jets for a very long time and what the feeling is like in the building. And, and it's all good. Like the vibes are pretty good around the Jets right now. I think first of all, I think the players love Aaron Glenn, which is not a surprise since he's a former player. Even though I would not call him a player's coach. Like that has a connotation that I don't think Aaron Glenn would like, and I don't think is accurate. He's not a player's coach. But I think fans seemed really enthused yesterday at practice, and I think everybody in the building is hopeful. I think we would all love to see like a turnaround, and the Jets at least be steady and not have so much drama. The other thing I think everybody appreciates is that Aaron Glenn, when he was hired, he said, we want to move in silence. Like, I don't think he wants the circus to be in town. He does not want headlines. He just wants headlines about football. And I think everybody around there appreciates that.
I don't know if you've seen all the comments, but a lot of media noticed it. I know he doesn't like making headlines, but some of the ones that he's made is every time Aaron Glenn has talked about something, it's almost seemed like a shot at Robert Saleh. Several of the players, Breece Hall, Elijah Tucker, I'm trying to name them all off the top of my head, have all said like, oh boy, finally accountability's here. I haven't seen that in a while. Breece Hall's like, oh man, it's finally great to come into work. And then, yesterday, Aaron Glenn had the thing about Will McDonald. He said, oh, he's been a speed guy. We didn't see power. Is that a new part of his game? He's like, it's coaching, man. It's coaching. You didn't see it last year? I don't know. Coaching. So a lot of people went, shots? Have you perceived it the same way?
I don't think it's been intentional shots.
Okay.
Certainly not from the players. Look, again, when you have a regime change, everybody is always happy with whatever, right? If things were not going well with the previous regime, the new regime is always the savior. And so you go from, oh, yeah, things are so much better. You hear that no matter which direction you're going. You heard that when Eric Mangini became the head coach, when Herm was the head coach, back and forth. They love Aaron Glenn. There's no question about it. I think the players have really bought into a plan. And if you're a guy like Sauce Gardner, who has been there now for a few years, Garrett Wilson, let's face it, they've been through some rough years. I think everybody was stunned when Saleh was fired middle of the season last year. The players, I think that was like, whoa, they did not think that was going to happen. So I think just starting out with a new coach who's obviously very high energy, who's one of them, who's a Jet, I think that gives them all a good feeling. They love the competitiveness of it. Like Mason Taylor made a point of saying that, like, Aaron Glenn is a highly competitive guy himself, obviously, and they are drawing competitiveness from him.
Judy, what are expectations for the Jets? Because Jet fans have been hurt. We have one winning season the last 14 years. So some would say we're due. Yeah. But also Aaron Glenn, I say in one breath that they're not his battle scars to share, but apparently they are. But, so it's not his fault that they haven't been to the playoffs in 14 years. But Jet fans are hungry. So what should be fair expectations for this Jets team in 2025 for the first-year head coach?
I think they will be improved in a few ways. First of all, accountability and discipline. Like, it's no accident that the officials are at practice. Aaron Glenn made a point of saying, like, we were the most penalized team last year. That is not going to continue. So things like that. But, I mean, so much depends on how Justin Fields is and how he performs. And the AFC is tough. I mean, there's no way around it. The AFC is tough. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are tough. You've got the defending league MVP in the division. I don't know how the Dolphins are going to be. I think the Dolphins might be in for a little bit of a reset season. I think the Patriots will be improved under Mike Vrabel. So the division is not easy either, but I do think the Jets will be improved. I would say this, I think everybody's going to have to hang in and be patient. And I say that fans, media, the people in the Jets building, players, like, they have a plan. But you got to let that plan, there's multiple steps here. So I think you've got to give it some time for that plan to go into effect and to bear fruit on the field. It's just
Okay,
like,
Judy,
Aaron Glenn said it
Yeah.
yesterday. He's not going to put a win total out there, but
Right.
like he expects Justin Fields to do good things, like same sort of thing for the team.
Judy, a few more, and then we'll let you get back to all your NFL Network duties as you're squeezing us in here, and thank you so much for that. Are you a Justin Fields gal? Are you, because, third team in 3 years, it'd be very easy to be on the other side of the fence of saying, well, obviously this isn't going to work, but where do you stand?
I'm hopeful for him because I don't think he's had, I think this is the best circumstance that Justin Fields has been in his time. I don't think things were set up for success for him at the Bears, frankly. I don't think he was getting the best coaching, and at that point, he didn't have the best players around him. The Steelers were are obviously a good team and a very good coaching situation, but it was always clear that they wanted Russell Wilson to be the starting quarterback from the first day that Russell Wilson got there. It was clear Mike Tomlin wanted Russell Wilson to be the quarterback, and so when Russ got hurt in training camp and couldn't go, then Justin Fields came in. But you always knew that he wanted Russell Wilson, and so I thought Justin Fields played pretty well in the first 6 games. They were playing conservative offense, but they were 4-2. He wasn't making mistakes. They wanted more explosion. They wanted more downfield plays, big plays, and so that's why they went to Russ. But I didn't think it was anything that Justin Fields did bad. So I am hopeful that now that he is in a situation where, first of all, he's got his college wide receiver, he's obviously Garrett Wilson is not just his college teammate, he's a stud. So he's got him, and he's also got a coaching staff that believes in him. Like, they believe that Justin Fields still has a very high ceiling and that he has gotten nowhere near reaching that ceiling. And so they think Justin Fields' best days are ahead of him. And I think that counts for a lot for a player, to know that a coaching staff is in his corner and is behind him. And, he doesn't have to look over his shoulder that, oh, there's Russell Wilson behind me. They're just waiting for the opening to put him in. And, and I don't discount how important it is that Garrett Wilson is there, because I'm not comparing them. I said this to Eric Allen of the Jets yesterday. I'm not comparing them to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but there is something to be said for pre-existing chemistry. And they have that. He already knows what Garrett Wilson likes. Garrett knows how he likes to throw the ball. That counts for something when you're in a new system with a new team, with new teammates. And I think that will benefit Justin Fields. It'll benefit Justin Fields to have a Mason Taylor, a really good receiving tight end. That's always a quarterback's best friend, to have a good tight end. So I'm hopeful that Justin Fields' best days are ahead of him.
All right, Judy, you wrote an article earlier this offseason. I'm going to butcher the phrasing of it, but essentially you were ranking the divisions based on how worried they should be basically about everyone else that's in there. And the Bills were basically number one. They had won the division by 5 games last year. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know who else in the AFC East over here. And to be fair, that's earlier in the offseason, but is going to have any chance. Do the Jets have any chance, Judy? The only thing that's longer than the Jets playoff drought is the last time they've won the AFC East, which was back in 2002.
Well, I mean, I would never say nobody has a chance, because you have no idea how the season's going to play out, right? One injury and the whole season turns upside down for the entire league. But listen, I think the Jets, I don't think they're rebuilding, but they're still building. And I do think they have a ways to go. The Bills are a Super Bowl contender, right? I mean, the Bills are trying to get over the hump. Josh Allen is the league MVP. So you got to get past them. Now, again, the other 2 teams in the division, the Dolphins and the Patriots, I don't know. But the Patriots are starting Mike Vrabel, who has shown a history of success, even when he didn't have the best circumstances in Tennessee. And the Dolphins, I don't really know where the Dolphins are right now. But if they set them aside, it's a tough division. And again, the Bills want it going away. So I still think the Bills have a pretty good edge. But I do think the Jets are a team on the rise. And that's all you can hope for, right? Is that you're at least on the rise and not sort of treading water, and certainly not going through what they've gone through the last few years.
Yeah, that's for sure. Last thing here, Judy, is there anything else in your Jets notebook from yesterday that you want to get out there to the universe, to all of Jets social media and Jets YouTube land that's listening in right now? Anything on the Jets you want to say?
just that the vibes are really good and really positive and lots of energy. And I would say, stick with them. Like I think Aaron Glenn put it yesterday, like, don't let go of the rope. Yeah, don't let go of the rope. Like, there's a plan in place. He's got a plan. He knows what he wants to do. The players have totally bought in. And if you're a Jets fan, you probably need to buy in too.
That's it. We will hold the rope. Well, Judy, it's great to have you back on the show. It's great to have you on last summer. Thank you so much for joining us this time. We're enjoying the heck out of all your guys' training camp coverage on NFL Plus and NFL Network. So, Judy, thank you so much for getting us in here, even if it's at Giants camp. It's not as great as Jets camp, but you do the best you can.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, there she is, Judy Battista, baby, joining us here on the show. An absolute treasure and a real, sweet surprise there, which was amazing.